HermVids, Mr. Herman. Educational videos about reading and writing. Hello everyone, this is Mr. Herman, and this video is all about how to complete your detailed final project. You guys have done warm-ups, you've done practice assignments, now you're ready to show me that you know what to do. So let's go to Google Docs and check out the assignment. To get to the detail final assignment, you go to the Creative Writing 1 folder, Unit 3 Detail, and then Final Assignment. The detail final assignment is going to be a narrative, which is a story, which focuses on a childhood memory. I'm giving you a few different options to brainstorm for this project, because a lot of stuff happened to you obviously between the ages of 0 and 13, so we're going to work on a way to visually brainstorm so more stories pop up in your brain. Here are some of the options. The first option could be to sketch out with your hand a map of where you grew up, and as you are visually looking at the area, maybe some stories will pop into your mind. You'll label the stories 1, 2, 3, and 4 at the bottom of the page, and you're going to pick one to focus on for this project. The second option is using a website called Animaps, and that website is one that'll get you 2 bonus points if you use it. I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. You can also, for the hand-drawn version, use something called Google Drawing. So let me show you a Google Drawing I made using a map of where I grew up to show you how to do this brainstorming. Alright, so this is the drawing I made through Google Drawing, and the way you can create one of these things is if you do Create and Drawing in Google Drive. So here's my drawing, and this is kind of a basic version of how to brainstorm for this assignment. So what I did was I started by drawing my house where I grew up, and I also labeled the town, which is called Elkins Park, PA. It's kind of close to here. It's north of Northeast Philly. And then I started thinking of things that happened around my house. And I remember right out front of my house there was a sewer grate. And then I remembered that my neighbors, 3 of them, there were 3 boys, the Joneses, were adventurous kids, and one day they decided to lift up the sewer grate when it was raining and climb down into the sewer and kind of hang out. Well, the rain got more intense that day, and the water was pouring in, and eventually the fire department had to be called and they had to be lifted out. So I labeled that story with a 1, and then I had a more in-depth sentence to describe that story at the bottom. So maybe I'll use that for my final project. Then I thought of the actual road that I lived on, and I looked at some giant stones that lined the driveway. And then I remembered that I had a fight with one of my friends during a game of Manhunt, where he thought that I tagged him, vice versa. It ended up with us fighting like 8-year-olds do, where you're just kind of like, I don't know, you're not really punching each other. So I labeled that with number 2, I got in a fight. Then I started thinking of the roads that connected to my house, and I thought of this hill called Rolling Hill Road, and it was a big rolling hill. That reminded me of my first bike that didn't have had handlebar brakes. It didn't have those little kid brakes. And I tried it out the first day I got it after my birthday. And I remember going down the hill at a fast speed and then forgetting how to use the handlebar brakes, even though they're right in front of me, and smashing directly into the stop sign down here. I labeled that with a 3. Finally, I thought of the giant cemetery that my friends and I would spend time riding our bikes in that was nearby. And I remembered a story that happened where one of the Joneses, actually my friend who I got in a fight with, and myself were riding our bikes through, and we heard a bunch of music from back in the forest behind the cemetery. We decided to go check it out because we were curious little kids, and we saw a bunch of teenagers who were actually punks, which were kids with mohawks and camo pants and that type of thing. They were having a raging party in the woods. They were smoking cigarettes, they were drinking from bottles, they were screaming, playing crazy music. And I looked at one made eye contact with me, and he ran up to me and he grabbed me. And he said, "If you tell the cops we're back here, we're going to kill you." But he didn't use as polite language as that, of course. So we booked it home, and one of the Joneses told his mom about what happened, and she called the cops, and they busted up the party, and they didn't come and kill us. So those are my stories that I brainstormed from this map here, and I decided I'm going to use this bike story to focus on for my final project. Now, I told you guys earlier that there was an option to get bonus points if you use a website called Animaps. I'm going to link a how to use Animaps video in with all the creative writing stuff. But Animaps is a website that allows you access to Google Maps, and you can actually do exactly what I just did, except with a legitimate map. You don't have to draw anything. So this is the area where I grew up, actually. These are the places I talked about. And you can record. There's a whole bunch of options here. You can, of course, use Google Street View. And this is all the places I was talking about. So this is my road right here. There's a sewer grate that I was talking about. That's the house I grew up in. Let's see if those rocks are still there. Oh yeah, here they are. Those are the rocks where I got my first fight. You go north here. And let's see. Yeah, Rolling Hill's a little bit more north of here, I guess. Yeah, it's Rolling Hill. And that kind of goes down into a hill where I crashed my bike as a kid. So there you go. That's an option to get 2 bonus points for this project. Now, just like with the diction assignment, you guys have a rubric where you still need to use your 10 strong words, but you also need to use a lot of detail, just like I taught you. There's a typo right there. So if you do all these things, you keep your mechanics straight, then you will get a good grade on this project. Now, the rough draft, I broke it down into a very simple beginning, middle, and end with a storytelling unit. And here's my example, which is my story I wrote about crashing my bike. So you can use this if you're confused how to start. Of course, we have our self-editing STAR method, where you have to improve your writing, your peer edit, and then with the final draft, I gave you guys some more options how to publish your stories online. And again, you get 2 bonus points if you use one of these methods. So let's start off with the first one, which is called Figment. Figment is an online community of young writers who read and publish each other's work, and you can connect with other people and communicate through being an author online. Then there's something called Storybird, which is a more visual way to tell stories. It gives you all these cool templates, and you can use pictures for your storytelling, and it's another great way to get more creative. Finally, there's this program, and this is only for those of you who have Macs. It's called iBooks Author, and it's free to download. You can download it on the Apple website. And just to show you real quick what it looks like, it gives you these really beautiful looking templates to use. Let's say I want to choose this one. It allows you to create a title page, to make really professional looking chapters, and then you can upload it onto an iBook reader, you can publish it, you can do a whole bunch of different things with it. So those are your options for your detailed narrative childhood memory assignment. I look forward to reading your projects and to seeing what you guys did with detail.